Happy today. I am William Brown from IamWilliamBrown.com. This is Disconnect to Connect One Word Conversations. One Word Conversations is a self-discovery, relationship-building conversation designed to help you look at your language to see how language is causing connection and disconnection. Many times we come up with a lot of lovely words, right? And we feel that we have done everything that we could to make sure that we're understood and appreciated. But words don't just come with definitions. They also come with stories, expectations, emotions. And many times we feel that we've said everything right, but we still find ourselves in a place of disconnection or at odds. And so by willing to have a one-word conversation, you are committed to learning more about yourself, the person that you're speaking to, and building on that relationship. That's what I endeavor to do with our one-word conversations. One-word conversations is brought to you by IamWilliamBrown.com, a place to help you be yourself and live your life. One way that I spotlight what's available at at IamWilliamBrown.com, I got ahead of myself, at IamWilliamBrown.com is our U cards that are in support of the Beyond the Shell book series, the Beyond the Shell children's books, the Finding You Beyond What Protects You, and The Journey to Stay You. So the cards that I picked to set the intention for our conversation today is I am seen, you are complete, and there is no one youer than you. This is the moment where I invite you to like, share, comment, ask questions, subscribe, do all those things to let me know that you are a part of this conversation too. The word that we have today is inform. Inform. Just hit me. That in what form am I taking today? I don't know. I think it's one of those days where I'm like all over the map. So this is going to be a fun conversation. I will just warn you of that. So as I do, I invite a guest in so we can have a conversation. Good morning.
Morning.
This is the moment where I invite my guests to introduce themselves however it feels comfortable to them.
So, hi everyone. Good morning. I am Amanda Acker. I live near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am a certified online business manager and business consultant. I am on a mission to partner with heart-centered entrepreneurs across the globe to help them make a greater impact. Another fun thing about me is I love music. I'm married to a musician, and I feel that music is what brings us all together.
Wow. So I will mention this too, that I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I've been in the Carolinas for the last 27 years. So it's kind of funny. I moved to Carolina and I start a podcast and then connect with someone from my hometown. Who knew, right? So go from there. So the question of the morning is, how does the word inform land for you?
So inform, I've been thinking about it, ever since you sent me the word. I'm like, oh, I don't really know what to say, but I feel that with inform, I'm thinking along the lines of how we are informed as a society about what things are going on in the world.
Right.
So I feel that we are over-informed. I feel that there's way too much information in the world going on all at once, and it's confusing, and a lot of times that there's a disconnect because there's so many options on who to listen to and who to be informed by.
Right.
So that's what instantly comes up for me when I think of that word, for sure.
It is really interesting for me too, because in some cases, most of the times I operate from, why do I know this information? That's the first thing. As soon as I'm informed about something, the next question is, why do I know this? Right? Because who's telling me this? What is the benefit? All of those things just run through my head. And I'm with you. Sometimes I don't know who to trust or why and all that other kind of stuff. And it gets like, it really comes back to me, is how I'm processing the information, how I'm really feeling that, is this useful information? Is this something that I can, benefit from? And it's like I'm one of those people that cannot and almost refuse to go to places like subways or um, a buffet. And I think in this time that we're in, buffets are like gone. They're kind of
Yeah,
like
not an
gone away.
option.
It's I would always like not get the benefit of that because there were so many choices. And it was just like, oh, all of this looks good and none of this looks good. And
Yeah.
I'm just going to get this. Right. And so I come back with a pound of chicken or something. Right. And it's like, so it's just, so I'm just trying to work on, I guess, my discernment, and just kind of processing all the information that I get.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you on that. Yeah. The buffet example. So true. I always end up with like this heaping salad of like all the toppings on the salad bar. So same thing. Yeah. I feel like, yeah, like, we're saying like there is so many different places to get information and to be informed, but then it's up to us to decide who we trust
Right.
in order to actually believe the information we're being told.
Right.
So, for you, like, how do you decide who you trust? Like, do you need to have a personal relationship, or do you have like, how do you depict who you would trust to inform you?
Right. I'm a self-awareness coach, right? So, a large part of my conversations are really getting aware of yourself and trusting yourself. Um, and and so I said that because when you ask, well, who do you trust? And it's like, I start with myself. If I don't trust myself to one, make the decision, then we're in trouble. Then I'm not just going to give it off to someone else. And if I don't trust myself to kind of understand or to get all the information so I can have clarity on it, I'm dead to rights too. So it really starts with me and um how much I trust myself, in the matter to go from there. I mean, we're coaches and consultants, right? So a large part of our business is the trust factor. And so I use the example within my coaching as, seeds. I'm like, what I'm saying, look at my words as seeds, right? So there are some seeds that you can eat right away. You just like, pop it in your mouth, you eat. Some that you put in your pocket, plant for later, right? Decide how you're going to plant them or when they're going to plant for later. And there is some seeds are just for the birds. So just throw them away, right? Right? And just
Yeah,
kind of
so
do
true.
that. And so the only way that people can get that way of listening to me, have a listening for me, is by trusting themselves. Because there's a lot of things that I say that I don't even believe. And it's just, and it's just, I just recognize that for myself. It's like, right, I don't even know where the hell that came from. I don't believe that. But it's from somewhere, but I'm trying to get informed while I'm not informed at the same time.
Yeah.
And so really being able to trust yourself enough to kind of continually to process the information and keep processing the information so we can make decisions.
Yeah, I believe that. Yes, I think too, like when you hear something from someone else, if it seems a little off or weird to you, like,
Right.
wait, I don't know if I believe that or not, you have to decide whether or not it's worth looking further into to decide
Right.
if it's true or not, or if it's something like you said, just to throw to birds, like that's crap. I don't need that, you
Right.
know? So when you're constantly inundated in our society now, I mean,
Right.
especially with the pandemic, we're all on social media all the
Right.
time, right? We're getting constantly inundated with all these different information and all these different ways to do this or do that. I think it's all about too is you got to compartmentalize that stuff. Like you got to take a minute and say,
Right.
okay, like what did I learn today? What do I want to keep and what do I want to throw away? Because you don't want your brain so clouded with all this
Right.
information that you can't use any of the information. So it's kind of just like chaos in your brain. So I think it's really important to also take that step back to really
Right.
look at, everything that you're learning or taking in a day too.
Right. It's my how I procrastinate. So I'll just say it this way. It's like most of the times when you think of procrastination, it's like you're supposed to be doing something, but you're doing nothing, right? So I have a creative way of procrastinating. So when I'm supposed to be doing something and I don't want to do it, or I'm afraid to do it, and I'm procrastinating, how I get there is I say, I need to get more information. Right? So I'll go to Professor Google, or I'll, do something, or I'll think, and it's like, dude, you're procrastinating. Just do it. Right. So trying to get more information, but really getting to the point that I am informed. And I'm still going to be informed. But this is something that I really just, this is the information that I have. What came up within the card today, that you are complete. And so I ask people to really embrace that you're complete. However, currently you're not aware of your completeness.
Mm,
So it doesn't mean that you're missing anything, but you're just not aware of it. And so for me, that's how inform is coming up for me. That I'm informed, but there's still more information that I can get. And so I'm going to make some decisions and choices on the information that I have. But when I get some more information, I might make different choices. And that's okay, because sometimes when I wait for all of the information, um, I do nothing, right?
yeah,
Nothing is happening.
yeah.
And then then that's the problem.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I know for me, starting a business and trying to like, okay, like what do I need to learn to grow this business and get in front of my ideal clients, right? But
Right.
then if I'm taking all these courses, I have all the information in my head, but getting it all at once, it feels like I'm not doing anything because you need it one step at a time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's information for me. Um it's like awareness. It's like I say it's a key, right? It's an access point. It is back when I was young, there was GI Joe, and they would say, something that, knowing is half the battle, right? And I believe that's just a lie, right? Because knowing, or having a knowing, is the beginning, right? Now you
Yeah.
can make some choices. And there's sometimes people feel like, because I know this, I'm like, gun ho, all that other kind of stuff. And it can cause it can cause people to get ahead of themselves. Well, look, I'll speak for myself. It can cause me sometimes to get ahead of myself, because like I said before, it's like, okay, why do I know this? Okay, that must mean, then I give it a story, right? That must mean I need to do this. It's a sign that I need to, like, sell all my clothes and go live in a monastery. What? Right? It's all those type of things that we do when we get informed about something. But like I said, there has to be this ongoing learning and appreciation. Some When I was a kid, I used I used to hate to say I didn't know. I I wouldn't think that I was like lying, but I would kind of like saying, when someone would ask me something and I clearly didn't know, I would like kind of talk around it. I would kind of trying to find my way into it, but letting them know that I knew something. I may didn't know everything about this, but I know enough to at least kind of go there. And it just caused more problems than than anything. Instead of just saying what I now believe, the the best place to be is when you don't know, to say, I don't know, but I will, this is important and I'll get the information, I'll get informed to know it. And I think that I'm sure you see this in your business, that place of asking for help, right? Business owners, we feel like, okay, I'm in business, I should know everything about this. And there's just so many things that we don't know.
Yeah.
And that the more that we're able to say, you know what, I don't know this. And this is important for me to know. I need to get informed on this. And so having a coach, having a consultant to help us do that is like the best thing that we can do. But too often you act as if we know, and then it just causes more problems.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I know. Like when people ask me something, I'm like, oh, like, not sure on that. It's better to admit that you don't know, right? Than to start trying to make it seem that you do know and then turning it into this, well, now I've essentially lied to this person, right? Because I don't really know what I'm talking about. So I think it's really important for us to be honest with what we're informed of. And then if it's something important, going back and informing ourselves so we can then give that person the appropriate information to their question.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Someone, I think Cassandra has mentioned that there is some feedback. I thought
Oh,
I heard something, and you didn't hear it, so I was like, okay, maybe I'm just hearing things. But
yeah, I don't hear anything. It might be
uh,
on my end. I don't know. I
um,
don't know.
so yeah, so I apologize to anyone that's having
I'm
issues.
sorry.
That it's like I was informed, so I was getting information, right? That there was a challenge, and I ignored it because I was like, okay, I'm having this challenge. She's not having this challenge, so maybe it's just in my head, right? you know. I wonder how that comes up for people when getting informed. It's like we get information, nobody else gets that information, and then it's like, I guess I just get information. So I hope that whatever feedback or whatever thing that's happening, it kind of reduces. So I'm hearing it now, again. So it can go from there. Let's do this. Let's check your microphone,
Okay.
and see something is, I don't know if you're using an external microphone or or something, or doing that, because that's how we're getting sound. um in
Is that my headset, if I put it on Bluetooth, I can't hear you.
okay. Okay,
So
so
I'm using my laptop microphone, so that might be what's causing it.
yeah, it might be doing some other things. I my computer did a reboot, for me when I came on today, so it was a little later. So yeah, now I'm like freaking out now. Now, because we're informed, we can be overwhelmed by the information. So it's like, okay, so I'm hearing, should we keep going with this or should we not? All right, what's going to happen? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you to log out and log back
Okay.
in.
Okay.
And so I'm going to stay here. I'm going to take you off,
Okay.
and then we'll bring you back. So if you can check out, so this is what, so this is sometimes when we get information that if you have the feedback, if you're hearing any type of feedback and I am the only one on, then the problem is me. So if you're experiencing any sound issues or anything right now, just let me know in the comments. I just really apologize. It's kind of funny because I really I heard something and I just decided to ignore it. It's like, okay, I guess it's just um, my problem. Something's going on here, and only I am hearing it. So, Cassandra, thank you very much for letting us know. And if you're able to let us know if you're experiencing any problems, we can go from there. So I'm going to bring my guests back in.
Is the feedback on? I think I may have figured out how to use my Bluetooth headset. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and we currently don't hear any feedback. So
Kind of fixed it.
so that's good. So if I didn't ignore the things, could have probably put people out of their misery. So Cassandra mentioned that she was going to be on switch to captions so she can just see the words that we're saying. So if Cassandra is still on and she is willing to switch back to audio to see if there is no longer any feedback or interference there, that would be great. I think there was a little lesson there about
Someone
thank you.
hears us great, Beverly.
Right. So that's that's great. I guess the lesson here is what we do with the information that we get. So for me, there are many times where I just ignore it. I just act like it's not, I'm not hearing anything right now, even though things are like pounding in my head, right? It just, and I don't know what that's all about. Maybe that's an inquiry for the day. And there is sometimes that there is information, right? There is information that we're not getting, that it's not processing, that that we feel that it's not a problem. And I wonder how this is coming up for you. So
yeah, totally. I completely agree with you. I think it's a mixture. So I think sometimes for me personally, if I was hearing the feedback but no one else was saying anything, I'd be like, oh, well, it's just me. I don't want to say anything. Right? You get that kind of like awkward. If I say something and nobody else agrees, then I look kind of like I feel like embarrassed.
right.
So there's that piece. And then sometimes through life, you're being informed, but imagine the things that are happening that you're not paying attention to that you should be paying attention to. So that makes my brain go, wait, like what am I missing?
Right.
Like I must be missing
Absolutely.
something.
There is I am a part of my coaching consulting career. I was in tech. And so helping people utilize technology, better in their organization and in their life. And there was one part of a talk that I did that talked about email notifications and getting emails. And I would say that, it wasn't long ago that we were excited to get emails. Now we ignore more emails than we open.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's like it went from the novelty of the information that we're getting, right? We're like, hey, I'm getting this, this information. Now, now it's a nuisance, right? Now it's kind of go from there. It's the same thing with car alarms. When I hear a car alarm in the, in the parking lot, it's like, it's not that somebody's robbing somebody's car, right? It is, somebody did something stupid and their car alarm is going off, right?
Yes.
And it's like, So it's like I'm getting that information and now I'm ignoring it because there's too much. And I think it goes back to what you were saying before. We are overwhelmed with information now. In some cases, we don't know what to do with
Yeah.
that information. So I think there is this, for me, to figure out ways to filter out the information that we get. How can I stay informed, right? And at the same time, filter it so I get it at a dose that I can understand or appreciate and make useful.
Yeah.
Because there is so much information coming at us that may be very helpful to us, right?
Yeah, I can only imagine the amount of emails I personally have not opened because it's just too much. It's like I look at my inbox, like I have Gmail, so like it separates updates, and I forget what the other one's called, but and I go in there and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much in here, and I either delete or just ignore it, or I
Right.
unsubscribe because it's just I can't take in too much information at once. So what I've learned is to pick certain people who you know, like, and trust and follow
Right.
them and only subscribe to them. That way you're not getting inundated with all these other things, right?
Right.
So, I mean, that's a
Yeah.
good tip, but it's hard to do.
Yeah,
I think.
I this is something I'm like sharing something that I that I do, and it's basically for my sanity with around emails is that if it's like a month, or so old and I didn't open it, it's just delete it. And it's like and so I mean there could be like very important stuff in there, but I think if it really is if somebody this is my way of thinking. If someone sends me an email with very important information in it, and I don't respond to it, um, they're going to call me or they're going to find another way to get in touch with me because it's very important. And if they don't do that, it's not that important. And the challenge that I have with I don't want to say it's a challenge that I have, but it's the let's just say there are conversations that I have with my wife around me responding to stuff, right? So she'll send me an email, then I may get a text that I don't respond to or something because I'm busy doing something, not seeing it, and then I'll get a call. And then after I get the call, it's like, yeah, like, I'm gonna need you like to check your email because I've sent you all of this stuff. And I think I don't know if I've been conditioned to like wait for the call, right? to respond to things because nobody hardly calls me. Why am I getting a call? I guess this is
Yeah.
important, right? Type of thing. But I have gone through stages in my life that um I was on I was like on my phone and my head in my phone all the time because there was some information that I felt that I was missing or that I needed to get, and then I wasn't present to anything that was like in front of me. And so now I'm like trying to balance that by saying, okay, at 2 o'clock, I'm going to be checking all my emails and just kind of looking through if there's anything that I need to respond to or kind of work on, and then just get back to it and just be okay with that. And that's a way that I filter information
Yeah.
for me because I just there was a time where on my phone where if I was like out and about where that doesn't exist
Yeah.
much, we're not just out and about, right? Most
No.
of the times we're out for a reason and then we
Yes.
get back to the house, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Unfortunately, yes.
but in the past when I was out and about and I would get emails sent to my phone, I would check, I would see, that's a lovely email. I will respond to it when I get back to the office. And in my mind, because I read it, I responded to it, but I didn't, right?
Oh, yes.
So it's like, oh, and it's like, hey, did you get that email? Oh yeah, I responded. No, you didn't, right? And it's like, and then I look and I says, oh, I guess I didn't, right? And so how is that? How I guess the question that I have for you is, how do you um kind of process your information and kind of deal with it, right? And like decide if, okay, if I'm going to take this in or if I'm going to like let this go, and just be okay with your decisions around that.
So recently, just a couple weeks ago, I was very overwhelmed. Okay, there was just too much going on, and I thought to myself, how can I make it so I'm not constantly being told I have an email, I have a Facebook comment, I have this. I turned all the notifications off on my phone. Let me tell you, it has been
Right.
a blessing
Right.
because now when I'm hanging out with my family, I want to give them all of my attention.
Right.
I don't want to be, because if my phone vibrates, I there's something in my brain that goes, you got to look at it, because that's that
Right.
FOMO, fear of missing out,
Right.
and I have that really bad because there's a lot of shiny objects that I want,
Right.
and for me, it's deciding, okay, this is my time during the day is when I can look at my emails, my Facebook notifications, and then at a certain point in the day, I cut it off, I shut
Right.
down. I'm no longer sitting in front of my computer unless there's something urgent I need to do in my business. And I'm with my family.
Right.
So I process my information that is, during the day. And then in the evenings, that's when I'm relaxing and kind of just dialing it back and spending time and being present with my family. Now, if something pops up in those hours where I am hanging out with my family, then I
Right.
know, okay, I tell them, like, I'm going to inform you that this might occur because this is happening so that they're aware. And then we are all still present in the moment. Because that's also when you started talking about that, FOMO just started popping in my head because
Right.
FOMO is real.
It's real.
It is real. And I have it bad. Like Clubhouse, FOMO is real, but I
Right.
have not gone on there yet because I know
Right.
it's not the right time. I don't need that as another
Right.
distraction from my family and my life. So, yeah.
Right. There's a resource that I'll make available to the audience here if you want it, because I'm one of those things that for me, I have a business coach that tells me, hey, you got to let that go. But here's one of the things that I want to let go because of me believing that a lot of people are inundated with stuff in emails. I find it very difficult to send emails because it's like I don't want to be one more thing in your inbox type of thing. And it's like, dude, you have to communicate with your community. You have to let them know what's going on. And it's like, I don't want to bother them. It's like, dude, talk to them. They want to hear from you. But so what I am saying, I put together a digital detox. There's a downloadable workbook that I'll make available to you if you put in the comments that just put digital detox, and I will message you a PDF of a digital detox so you can look at it. You can do a little assessment and then put together a plan for yourself, right? And I think just like you were saying, Amanda, it's like you know yourself, so you just turn off those notifications, right? You
Yeah.
just kind of do it. If I don't hear it, it's not happening, right? Right now.
Yes. Yes.
And that is something that that's what awareness is all about. Knowing yourself. And I'm sure you're going to have a friend or you're going to have somebody to call you and it's like, oh well, that Clubhouse is amazing, you're going to have to get on, right? And it's like no,
You
right,
have no idea what you're doing to me right now. Stop
right,
talking about Clubhouse.
right. And it's the one thing that I can tell you, because a good friend of mine, and someone that was on the show, told me that, hey, get on Clubhouse and we'll do a couple things. We can continue the one word conversation there. And I was like, oh yeah, sounds like a great idea. I went on, once, and it was interesting. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have to spend more time with this. And this is not the time to kind of do that. And so, um, this is something that I'm definitely going to do. But I don't know, when that's going to happen. So, but yeah, it's like you're going to have to manage your information and filter your information and kind of do that. How we can really like be informed and not be informed. There's a part of my life that um, that there was a lovely woman in college that said she would look at me and say, "So cute, so dumb," right? Because there's just so many things that I just didn't know, and I was like, blissfully stupid, right? Right? But I just act, it's just kind of just like, what? Once you get informed, right? Your life will be so much better. But there is so much about me, about that time for myself that I wish I just didn't know, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of, but it's like I know that is not the the reality, right? Grow up. We got to know stuff, right? So we can make decisions. But there is still a part of me that I just want to be blissfully uninformed, right? Right?
Same. Yeah. Sometimes it's like then you get the information, you're like, man, what? No, I didn't want to know that.
Right.
And now I
It's
do.
like,
Now I want to do something with it. Yeah, the
it's like
worst.
right.
Yes.
It's like now I gotta do something. It's like
Yes.
crap, right?
Yeah.
Right?
So true.
It's funny. I'm from Pittsburgh, and the one reason I don't it's not the main reason, but it shows up in my communication, especially around the wintertime. But the one reason why I live in the South is because of the weather, right? It's because I did enough shoveling and being out in the cold and, you know, I don't know, it's just aching, right? And all that kind of stuff. And it's like sometimes when it's like 30 degrees, in the winter and people are like, "Oh, it's so cold." It's like, yeah, you don't know what
You
cold
have
is.
no idea. It is the
This
high
ain't
thing.
cold.
So I can't say her name because she'll go off, but Alexa
Right.
told me this morning that the high for today is like 25. I was like, that is not a high. You're lying to me. Not reality.
It's like, yeah, but it's like, all right, so I guess 30 degrees is cold now, right? It's
I
like,
guess so.
it's just really funny. And the other thing that I really didn't never really understood it. So I don't know if you can understand this, and I don't know why this is coming up in this conversation. It's just being informed, right? Because we want to know what the weather is, so we know how to dress, right? And what how
Yeah.
to show up outside. But it's like when I would look at the weather, and they would say it's like 25 degrees, but it feels like 10 degrees below. It's like, wait a minute, if it feels like 10 degrees below, isn't it 10 degrees below? Right? It's like, what is it real? How can it be 20 degrees and 10 degrees below? It feels that way. And
Yeah.
so that's why when I get informed, it's like, I don't think I just got informed about something. I just think I got confused. Right? Right?
Yeah. I know. I'm the same. It's like, well, wait a second. So is it 20 degrees or -10? I'm so confused. And I just know it's cold. That's all I need to know. Just tell me it's cold, it's
Right.
warm, it's hot, it's
Right.
snowing, it's raining. I don't need the degrees because that just confuses me. Yeah, I'm with you
Right.
on that for sure.
I learned this the hard way in business, and I'm sure it's probably come up within your consulting, is that confused people do nothing, right? So if you can confuse your potential client, they're not going to buy from you, right? Right?
Yeah.
If and it's just one of those things. So how you can give enough information that will cause people to act, but not too much so you can confuse them, right? So it's that for me, that's the balancing act right there. It's like, All right, because I'm one of those people that want to like tell it all, to kind of make sure that, eyes wide open. Hey, this is what I know, right? And most of the times when I do that, they're like, what? It's like, because they have all the information, but they don't have how I process that information, how
Right.
I got all that information, and how, so really understanding how, and I need to break away, like I said, this is a hang up that I have, that it's like, if I still have information and I'm not sharing with you, I'm keeping it from you. So I'm not being honest. And it has nothing to do with being honest. There's no morality around that. But there is this, for me, there is this thing within my head that, if I have the information, I need to share it with you. And it is, like I said, it causes more confusion if people don't know how to process the information that they get. Um, there's something, I was talking to a dear friend of mine yesterday, and I told her that something that I've been sitting with, and so I'll share it with you to kind of explain it, so um, I can tell you some of the confusion that I bring to people, right? So so I said that when we wait to believe something, we are eliminating miracles in our life.
Mm.
So, and that's what she said. It's like, yeah, it's like, and then I said, put simply, when you stay in your head, you miss your heart. And she said, well, why didn't you just say that? It's like, and it's like, I don't know. That's just what I do, right? Like, but it's that, but the other way, right? The other way of really waiting to believe something, right? To really saying, you know what, I am going to really believe this. I'm going to believe this about myself. I'm going to believe this about um, my business and a person. We miss or we eliminate miracles. For me, miracles mean something that's happened. There's something that's happening that I didn't believe could happen.
Mhm.
And so for me, that's how I process get out of your head. you know get out of your head so you can see the miracles that are happening in your life, because our heart shows us, right? Our heart allows us to see all the love and appreciation and all that other kind of stuff. And so, you know when if someone says something like that you don't understand, and the next thing that they say, put simply, it's like, geez, you just wasting my time, man. You just really, you're just really messing with me. But it is it is sometimes that, like I said, we feel like we want to be informed, right? We want to be informed, but we want to give people, I guess I'll say myself, I want to give people access to process the information that I'm giving them.
Yeah.
And sometimes I show up online with a lot more information than I guess sometimes that is needed. I there's sometimes it's like, the warning, long post, right? Right?
Yeah.
It's like, and so it's like, oh, here he goes again, right? You're right, type of thing. Just it's just that type of thing. But just staying informed. What I'm getting from this conversation for me is that there is a place of staying informed but protecting your sanity. I guess that's what's coming, type of thing. So, yeah, I think we can talk about this for hours, or I can ramble on and kind of justify.
Okay. I'm with you.
I don't know what's happening right now. But is there anything that's come up within this conversation that you want to leave everybody with, or hasn't come up that you want to kind of bring in?
My biggest advice on staying out of overwhelm of being informed is to
really take notice of how you yourself take in the information, and then like how I turn the notifications off on my phone. So if you're like me, you have FOMO and you feel like you have to respond right away, turn the notifications off on your phone. Time block when you want to be informed, but
Right.
stick to that time block.
Right.
And that, and you'll be so much better off, and you'll be able to focus on what's important one step at a time. Don't
Right.
try to take it all in at once.
Right. Yeah. It's just reminded me of, there's been a couple trainers and speakers that, they're sharing their information. It's like, oh, it may seem like you're like drinking from a fire hydrant. Well, why did you do that to us? Right. It's like,
Just like, I don't know what to do.
right. It's like, so yeah, but thank you very much. Hopefully the first part of the conversation wasn't too distracting for everybody
Yeah,
with
I'm
everything.
sorry.
But once we acknowledged that we were informed that there was a problem, right? There's
We
a
fixed
lesson.
it. See, there's
We
a
fixed it,
solution.
right? It's like, oh boy, many times I'm coaching myself, right? I'm coaching myself. It's like, and just go from there. So I would love to say goodbye to you in our green room, but this has been a great conversation. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and stay warm in your 25 degrees
Yes.
high out there. So it's probably not even 25 degrees yet, right?
Awful.
So thanks. Oh boy. Inform. Thank you. I mean, saw in real time, most of the times that there are opportunities in life that are like right in front of us, to give us access to what we need to learn in that moment. And what I got from this conversation for myself is trust. And the first person that you need to trust is yourself. You can have other trusted advisors to get information, a trusted source, right? To get information, to stay informed. But the first and last person that you need to trust is yourself. Because if you don't trust yourself to make the decisions that you need to make to process that information, whatever you need to know, it can go sideways very quickly. And so that's what I got from this conversation. Again, I want to offer that if you want the digital detox workbook, um, it's a digital download. It's a digital download that you get at no charge, right, for free. Just let me know in the comments, and I will message it to you so you can have that. So you can get informed and keep your sanity. I hope this conversation has brought value to you, not just to your day, but to your life. I invite you to reach out to me at IamWilliamBrown.com to help you be yourself and live your life. Because the world wants you, the world needs you, but the world isn't waiting for you. So go be you. Have a great rest of the day, and see you next time on One Word Conversations.